Hi, this is Chris, Video Game Dust Sleeves, and you're listening to the VGDS podcast with BonesZ06,
Yo, yo.
DanCavDragon,
How's it going?
and guest gamer EverythingRetro.
Hello, everyone.
To start off the podcast, we're going to have a little brief moment of silence in remembrance of those that lost their lives on 9/11. Okay, let's get it on the normal segment here. Sleeve it or leave it. First game is Othello. Dan, would you sleeve it or leave it?
Let's see. I have this game, but I don't believe I have a sleeve for it yet. Yeah, it's not a really particularly valuable game, so I probably wouldn't be my first choice of sleeving it.
Bones, sleeve it or leave it.
I'm gonna have to skip sleeving this one. I played a lot of Othello, but I don't see sleeving that one.
And Everything Retro.
Yeah, I'm out on that. I haven't.
He was like, he's not even gonna beat around the bush. He's like, "Yo, screw this, I'm out."
Yeah, I'm not in on it.
All right, are you in on Rampage? Everything Retro.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what's more iconic for NES and even arcade than Rampage? I mean, that's in my eyes, that's a must-have.
Okay, so you changed that tune real quick.
See that? Not like last time.
Bones, Rampage.
Rampage I would sleeve.
Dan.
Yeah, that's a great game. I would definitely sleeve that one. But back to Othello, Chris. Look what you could do with those pieces flying off the board. You could probably do a 3D sleeve for that, right?
Probably. Yep.
You're really trying to sell this Othello thing, aren't you?
Dan doesn't need to sell it because Dan buys like such off the wall. You would never think it would be sleeve stuff. That this would be normal for him.
But I haven't asked for Othello yet, so.
I'm sure it's
but
around
it
the corner.
sounds like it, yep, and it sounds like it's going to be a 3D as well. The thing is, he's right. That you probably could pop some stuff off of there and make it look really cool and unique. It's just who in their right mind displays Othello.
The creator of Othello.
Possibly. I'll stick with Rampage, thank you.
Okay, Rampage for 200, please. All right, Dan. How about Sonic Colors?
I suppose so. Sonic Colors was a pretty decent. There's been a lot of bad Sonic games in the recent years, but Sonic Colors was actually pretty decent, and they just remade it or re-released it for modern systems. Just this week, I think it came out. So yeah, I would sleeve it.
That's for the Wii, by the way. Bones, Sonic Colors.
No.
Everything Retro, Sonic Colors.
I mean, that is by far the best Sonic game ever made. So, I mean, I have to say no on it. Threw you all off on, didn't I?
Yeah. You said total opposite of what you thought, huh?
I knew it.
Yeah.
No,
How's it going?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm out on that.
Well, what if I can make a Sonic pop off of the sleeve? Would
It
you?
would look awesome.
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
just saying
3D,
that's a
it'd
good
be
3D sleeve right there.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that's more of a display game than play game for me. So, yeah, a nice 3D would be good. I'd display it, but I don't think I'm really going to play it.
Yeah, the Wii Sonic games in general, they're not that good.
No, I don't like the control.
I played like, I don't know, a handful of them. They're just not that good. Oh well,
It's a shame.
Yeah, it is. But it's Nintendo, and they're trying to bring out a Sega game. It just doesn't work.
with motion control.
All right, last title, Blood Rain for GameCube. Bones.
Well, when you were doing the check and came back, this is what we were talking about. I think that would look really cool 3D popped. But that being said,
Is it because of her boobs?
well, no, I wasn't actually thinking that at all. I was just thinking the whole image.
Yeah, I
generally.
know. I know. I was just,
But now that you pointed that out, that would be pretty nice.
What if I could
Well,
make the boobs squishy?
Oh man, you know what? You could probably even cut it out around the lettering there and just pop them way out off the top there and elevate the whole level of
Exactly.
that 3D sleeve.
Exactly. Now you see where I'm going.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sleeve that. That's the thing. So even though I think it would probably make a really cool sleeve just because of the way the cover looks, I don't sleeve that.
Everything retro.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I think out of all the ones we've done so far, I think that'd be the best 3-dimensional one. You know, for the first thing you even said about boobs and stuff, but you know, I wouldn't sleeve it either, to be honest with you. I mean, just because I don't know, I'm more of a cart sleeve than this sleeve kind of guy.
I can change your mind with a
would buy
3D
it.
sleeve. I could tell you that.
Yeah, I would buy it and put it on a shelf for sure, and then not let my nephews look at it.
And Dan.
Yeah, I feel the same way about disc games. It's really, unless you're doing a 3D sleeve, I don't see much point in it. But and I actually don't have this game, so I wouldn't ask for it. But Chris, you're making a pretty good case for a 3D sleeve. So maybe I'll go try to hunt this. It should. I think it's pretty cheap. So.
Well, honestly, it also depends on what kind of games you like. I mean, if you're a real big Blood Rain fan, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
It's all about your taste. All right, next segment.
It's a great series.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'll give
yeah.
you that.
This is the new and improved segment. My wife actually came up with the Guess That Box Art for this podcast as well. So this is the VGDS wife edition of Guess That Box Art. Dan, do you have a guess for the first image?
I think I know this one, but so let me pass and then. Let's see if
Bones, you
anybody else
probably
knows
know
it.
this one too, right?
Yep.
And Everything Retro. We're gonna leave it on you. Do you know this title?
I mean, come on now.
I know you should know this
In
title, but
era,
you should know
I
the
mean,
title.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, I know that
Man.
was definitely an easy one. I have to give it to you.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
if you were-
what an amazing franchise for real. Like, man, I growing up watching that back in the day. Whew, even now, if it's on, I leave it on.
I mean, it was kind of hard not to guess this one. I was gonna just get it to where you see their shoes.
I was gonna say that if it was
Um,
just zoomed in on one thing, it probably would have been really hard.
Yeah, like if I would have just got rid of the dudes on the right side and just went with the shoe and the two on the left side, well, the one on the left side linking over there, I think it would have been a little bit harder. Just a little bit. Not much, though. I think you would have figured it out. Like, this is iconic box art. It's iconic, well, just movie art in general, because this is just the same as the movie art, too. So, yeah. I knew that wasn't going to be a hard one. But my wife loves Bill and Ted, but who doesn't? So, she...
Great taste.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
taste.
exactly. And the next title, Bones. Guess?
Marble Madness?
Yes, it is.
Good
Oh,
guess.
that's what I was gonna guess too. So
It's,
yes,
It's Marble Madness for Sega Genesis. So yeah, you got it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was not
Too
hard at
bad.
all, was it?
I looked at it and I kept thinking Slinky, and I'm like, you know what? It kind of looks like a ramp. I'm going to say Marble Madness if he asked me first.
Yep.
That's literally what I did.
Yep. Dan, did you have this? Marble Madness?
Yep, I did recognize that
All right,
character
so-
from Marvel Madness.
And then I know you just said you did too, right? Everything Retro?
yeah.
Yep.
And what got it for me was the curves, because Marvel Madness, you have like that curved, and then it
Yep,
goes
yep.
where there's no
Mhm.
curves. That's what got it for me. I was like, oh, it's got to be Marvel Madness.
Good. See, I didn't have to take it any farther than here. That's the best part of this.
Nice.
All right, so next segment is Legacy of the Month. This month, it goes to Linda, aka the Gamer Girl. Her 2K exclusive sleeve is still available for sale. Anybody that would like any one of these sleeves. There's 3 different ones to choose from. Her very beginning one, which was her blue. Then it's in between her old logo and her new logo, and then finally her new logo. These are available for sale for a limited time. I think she said if she hits 3,000 subscribers, that's it. She is no longer going to have these available. There are probably about 70 more left. She has 100 available, but like 30 probably sold. So yeah, there you go. Please, by all means, contact me and I will get you a number. And yes, I do number them on the spine. If you check, you will see that they're individually numbered. All right, Dan, take it away for the next segment.
All right, so for our franchise of the month, this month, let's talk about the Punch-Out franchise. This is a classic series from Nintendo that goes back to the arcade and has appeared on most of their major consoles along the way. Actually, we haven't seen one in a while, but yeah. So let's start from the top, Bones. And have you played Punch-Out? Were you a Punch-Out fan?
Oh my God! Well, I can't say who isn't a Punch-Out fan because there are people that they don't like it. And honestly, as a kid, I won't lie, I did suck for the most part. I progressively got better and better and better over the years. But that was literally going back and playing some more and playing some more. And once I hit a certain level, I kind of stay at that now, so I can not go back to it for a while and then throw it in and be fairly decent. I'll still make it fairly far. Will I be able to beat it? Probably not. I've only ever beaten the original Punch-Out a handful of times, I believe, at this point. Maybe Power Punch 2 one time. I know I beat Super Punch-Out once or twice. I have not beaten the one on Wii. I don't know, man. That whole punching type deal is not really my favorite type of thing. At least for the Wii. That's just, nah. It really brings me too much back of the horrible Power Glove. Swinging that fist forward. I know it's more accurate. The Wii is definitely a lot more accurate, but just that whole, I don't like that. It's the same deal with driving steering wheels. I think they're cool, they're neat. You want to use them, but it's a novelty. Give me the controller, I'll do much better. And I'm the same way, even with the Wii one. I don't want any kind of motion control. I don't know what is the fourth one, Dan? Or a fifth, I mean.
That's with the one at the bottom. That's Super Punch-Out in the arcade.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I never played that, so that one I'm not even aware of. I've only ever played the Wii one, I believe, one time. That was just blessed in my system, and that's it. And that's all it ever was in there. So the Wii one is not one of my favorites. I don't go to that one. Punch-Out and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which are exactly the same game. Those are the ones that I will go to 100% every time. It's a fun game to just play 1-2 rounds of. It could be 20 minutes, and you got your fix. You're good. That's one thing I love about the Punch-Out games. Even if you don't win, it still is fun to just play through a bunch of the guys and then call it quits.
All right. Thanks a lot. How about Everything Retro? How are you a Punch-Out player?
That game, especially the arcade, like I was lucky enough to play it like on the actual arcade machines back in the day. My grandmother used to bartend, and the bar she bartended at had a Punch-Out machine. It was the only video game they had, and it was a Punch-Out machine. And man, it just brings back so much amazing memories. And then, I never really got to play the regular Punch-Out. I always had Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I was fortunate enough to have that. And then I wasn't able to play any other Punch-Outs until Super Punch-Out. But for me, I still just like Bones said, I still go back and play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I own it, and it's crazy how much the value has gone up too on that game. And just play a couple rounds, and I've never beat it. Mike Tyson beats me every time. He's so hard. He's so hard.
Yeah,
but it is such a fun game, man. The whole franchise. I'd love to see a newer version come out for like these next gen systems, I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't brought it to the Switch. I mean, that'd be perfect for their controllers. You know, if they want to duplicate the motion, but from the Wii. But yeah, I agree that I wasn't a big fan of the motion control. I like the control pad better. How about you, Chris?
All right, well, played it in the arcade vaguely. I didn't really play it much in the arcade. I do not actually own Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but I own Punch Out, the knockoff version. So I played it here and there, not too much. I actually played more Punch Out on the Wii than I did anything else. You know how Bones was saying with the motion controls is not for him? Well, it's totally opposite for me. I like that game. That is actually a really good game, and if you have the fitness board, you can actually, that's also compatible with this game. So you could stand on the fitness board and play Punch Out as well. My friend actually, he was like, "Oh, you got to get it. It's really good." And it is pretty decent. I didn't make it very far, and I never really made it far in a Punch Out game. It's just I never took the time to sit there and actually understand the strategy behind it, which is like you just need to know the timing. You know, that's pretty much it. I do not own Super Punch Out, and I don't own Power Punch 2, so that's pretty much my extent of Punch Out. I've seen a lot of gameplay of Punch Out, and that's thanks to T-Belly, because he played a lot, and I mean a lot of Punch Out. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a classic game for the NES. I'm still surprised that people still use beating Mike Tyson as a challenge. That's like the benchmark challenge for a lot of people today. Like people still try to go back and see how fast they can beat him and all that kind of stuff. It's hard.
Oh my god, yeah.
I remember I was a teenager when I was playing this game, and I could do it then, but I don't think I'm old and slow now, so I don't think I could even get remotely close to
it's like riding a bike. You can do it.
I don't know.
Dude, I have the code written on the back of the cartridge to get right to Tyson.
Yeah, to get right to Tyson, yeah. And then I remember I'd be like sweating trying to beat him because I'd be like so intense, so I'd be concentrating so hard and stuff like that. But I was able to do it a few times, but yeah, it wasn't easy. But like Everything Retro, I'm always a fan of the arcade game. I played this in the arcade, and that's my first memory of it, was all these big characters on the screen, and they each had different personalities. They each had like a special move and like a weakness and everything like that. So I thought it was really cool. I was a little worried when it was going to come to the home consoles. I was like, how are they going to pull this off? I don't think the NES is powerful enough to do this. And sure enough, they changed a little bit. They have the little Mac as instead of the big guy looking through him. They have the little character at the bottom, and it worked really well. And I liked how they actually added a lot, of characters to the game, and really fleshed it out a little bit more. And then Punch Out's really the same game. It's just they lost the Mike Tyson license, and so
right.
It's kind of interesting to like see. It's the same game, but see the different guy at the end. Power Punch 2 probably doesn't deserve to be on this list. It's not really a Punch Out game, but it's Mike Tyson. It was kind of like the unofficial sequel, and it's kind of weird. It's like you're fighting aliens and stuff. But so it's an interesting game.
Yeah. It sounds like something Mike Tyson would be all about.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll bite your ear off, man.
And then Super Punch Out I thought that was really I had a harder time with that game, but it was definitely a step up, and it was nice to look at. And I thought the Punch Out for the Wii, the motion controls worked pretty well. I didn't like it as much as, like I said, the control pad, but it was decent. I thought it was good. And Bones, you were saying about like you didn't have some of the characters, you didn't play Super Punch Out, but some of the characters they did reuse in some of these sequels, so that was kind of cool to see these characters get rehashed. But I didn't know that you can use the fitness board there, Chris, for this game.
Yep, it's definitely compatible.
But between the fitness board and motion controls, that's would almost qualify as a virtual reality game, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Close, but not quite. You can't see behind you.
Oh, they've already done that. They already made a boxing.
All right, so that's the segue into the actual podcast, which Dan kind of brushed on, which is PlayStation VR. Do you think it's a flop? So where do we actually start off on a podcast like this? You want to just go around and say whether you think it's a flop or not? Bones, we'll start with you. Do you think it's a flop?
No, it's not a flop, but it's hard to really decipher what you want to classify as a flop. That's like what you want to compare it to. That's a flop as well. That's what makes it kind of hard. But I can't classify it to what I would say is a 100% flop. It has sold more units than things that have flopped that I would try to compare it to. So I'm going to say, just to start it off, that no, I don't look at it as a 100% flop. Did it do as good as everybody thought? That as well, no, it did not.
All right, Dan, what do you think? Do you think it's a flop?
I don't think it's a flop because I hear they're gonna bring out a newer version for PlayStation 5 and all that kind of stuff. So obviously they're still invested in the technology and bringing it forward to the next generation of consoles. So in that sense, I definitely don't think it's a flop. Whether or not it's a long-lasting trend or something here to stay, or if it's just a gimmick, a fad like every other, like you mentioned, the fitness board, all that kind of stuff. But if it's just not a gimmicky gadget and are they going to keep supporting it after we get to the next generation, that remains to be seen. So I can't say it's a flop yet, but whether or not it's here to stay, I'm still not sure about.
And Everything Retro, flop or no?
Man, this is so tough because, like, I agree with these guys. Like, I don't think it's a flop. I really don't. I think for what it was and what it still is, like with the OLED screen and pushing, up to 120 frames per second, like it's amazing. Like, it's actually incredible. But like, I agree with what Dan just said. Like, and that's I think it's too gimmicky, man. Like, I think it's gonna go the route of like 3D. TVs had 3D built into them and then it disappeared because it failed in the past. I see that happening with this. Like, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes of the next release of it. I mean, I don't personally own it, but like, I am curious to see what actual real games come out for it in the next gen.
All right, so I'm probably going to be opposite of what you guys said. I'm going to say it is a flop, but not for the reasonings you probably think. I'm going more of a game aspect. If you go into your local store when this came out, you're talking maybe a handful of games you would see in the display case. Just say you went to Walmart. When VR came out, maybe 5 games, right? 10 at the most. They sold all the VR completely out of the stores. When's the last time you seen a VR in a store? When's the last time you seen any games from VR in a store? Besides buying it online or buying it, in secondhand or whatever the case may be, or GameStop per se. Besides that, where do you see it? I never see it.
Clearance bins?
Exactly. This is my case in point. You don't see this thing anywhere. You can't tell me everybody bought every single one they ever produced. Or even if they did that, like, it would still be readily available if it was that good. You know what I mean? It would still be in production. It would still be readily available. Now you're mentioning that PlayStation 5 is probably going to come out with a VR. Well, why do they need a re-release of VR?
Technology is the only thing I can think of because I have.
Get rid of the wires. Get rid of the wires. That's probably like their biggest.
Wires, better screens.
All right, yeah, well, yeah,
maybe
I kind of
built-in headphones, things like that. For the next setup.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of.
I kind of get that.
I mean, it's.
But still, it's still gonna be VR. They're only gonna be able to take it so far before it's.
My thing is, I agree with you 100% because really, what it comes down to is there's only going to be a certain percentage of people that are going to want and use that item. There really is. And then you got the percentage of people that can't use it.
Yep, because of motion sickness
that-
and seizures.
Yep.
And, yep.
That automatically stunts how much of growth a consumer product can actually have. If you think about it, it's only ever going to be so big. You can make cool games for it too. You're still going to have a percentage of people that can never really use it because they're going to get sick. And it's honestly my biggest turnoff from it, guys, is the fact that I come home and I'm tired. And I don't like sitting and really using the VR. I like being interactive with it. And I'm too damn tired to be getting up and playing a damn interactive game. I mean, honestly, that's what it really comes down to. Try running around with Doom, man. Your heart's going 100 miles an hour, or playing Firewall, and you're shooting the guys, and it's crazy. But I'm already tired, so I can get like maybe one round in, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I want to sit with the controller and play a video game, not stand up and be interactive. Maybe I'm just a nut because I do tend to move everywhere. The camera constantly tells me I'm out of range, so I do get a little nuts with it. But yeah, that's my biggest turnoff with it.
So
I can't use it as much as I would like to because I'm too tired for that.
all right, so let me go down the line right here. Just your thoughts on games being readily available, like just say at Walmart. Have you seen many games, Bones? Just like at
No. Even when me and you were out the last time, I didn't see any.
right. How about you, Dan?
No, you definitely don't see a lot of games on the shelf in the store. I mean, that could be just because there aren't as many games in physical format that they're selling. You know, I think they're pushing a lot of digital content more for the PSVR than the regular console. And stores in general are cutting, like if you go to Best Buy and stuff, they're really cutting down their shelf space for games and movies and stuff these days. So I mean, that could be just a sign of the times. But yeah, no, you're right. There aren't as many, titles on the shelf for the PR.
How many have you bought from the store, Dan? Do you know in your collection? How many? I know how many I bought from the store.
That aren't digital, like you physically bought from any store.
Bought.
That's the thing. I mean, I do have a few, I have a couple of games that I went out and bought, especially when it was newer, because I was just trying to buy as many as I could, to get more use out of the system.
So you're just saying that you had to buy more to get more use out of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was like, well, let me see what this is all about, So definitely Resident Evil and all those games, but I mean, there's very few games that I do want to go out and chase, go out and buy. There's no game I'm like, oh, I can't wait that comes out. It's a VR game, So yeah. But my question is, there are probably collectors out there who want to go for the complete set and every single physical release. So there's probably like a collector aspect to this. I haven't even looked at what values, what games, how much the physical discs for these games are.
Well, considering you can barely find them in a store, they're probably some of them have to be up there in some some kind of way.
Yeah.
What about you, Everything Retro?
I mean, I've seen I kind of talked about it like a second ago. Like I've seen them on clearance bins, but I haven't that's it. I haven't seen them actually physically on shelves anymore. Even when
all right, so put it this way, even when VR was just out, did you see that many games on the shelf?
No.
Yeah, see,
no.
That's my point.
It was all digital. Yeah, it was all digital.
Yeah. It still is heavy digital.
Yeah. I think that's probably why. I mean, other than I get super sick using one, but I think the biggest thing why I don't own one right now or even collect for it is because I'm a physical collector. I want to have stuff in my hand. I don't want this digital stuff.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. See, I know my number is 1. One game. That's what I bought out physically in public. Every other game in my collection that's VR, bought offline. Because they're just, like you said, there was nothing at the stores. And the bundle I bought came with Doom. Well, Doom was one of the games I was seeing at the store. Then I was noticing that I had already bought a couple bulk lot ones, where somebody had bought Batman, and like another game and another one, and I'm like, well, all right, they're already done with those. Boom, I'll pick them up, because for the most part the experiences are not long experiences. They're an hour. Some games can be more than that, but for the most part they're like, I would say max like 2 hours is a good average. Batman's only like what did we do that, Chris? In like an hour and a half?
Probably an hour and a half.
Yeah, something like that. Like, and that was us screwing around a little bit too.
Yeah.
So like, if you really hardcore go through it and you know the actual
Sequence.
level side, yeah, you can get through them really quick. So they're not long experiences. And to me, that also, I get it if it's good, it should still not be dirt cheap, but it shouldn't be super expensive. And they have gone up in price, Dan. Like Moss is one that I wanted to pick up. That went up in price. I think that's a low print run, though. That's another one where, as we were just saying, it's digital. It was a lot of digital. They didn't do a lot of production. And I think a lot of them came only in the bundle as well. So it's kind of weird, man, how it's starting to get into a real collecting niche. I don't know if I'm going to get into that collecting niche, though.
I don't even own a VR yet. You know, I want to get one. I wanted to get one Black Friday when they had the deal on Black Friday, but I had it in my hands. I was like, yeah, and then I put it down. And I probably should have got it because, like, you can't find them. And I didn't want to go, like, secondhand with something like that, but I might have to.
So, See, I don't know about that. What do you guys think about that? Those types of things, secondhand years later. Ugh.
I was just about to say, that's something I don't trust to buy used because I have so many things go wrong with it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go new with something like that. Just like yeah, no way.
No way. There's way too much to break.
I must be more daring than you guys then. I would go secondhand.
Well, somebody will have to learn how to fix those, I'm sure, over the years. Just like everything else, somebody will figure it out.
And just, like, clean the hell out of it when I get it.
Yeah. I've seen people work on them already on YouTube because I was interested in, when I bought mine, I wanted to see what are the things that it's going to be prone to have go wrong. Wire was a big issue. You got to be very careful with the wire on it. That's why the next model up being wireless is going to be a good thing, I would assume. The thing is, it's really you've got multiple different directions you can go in as well. It's not like it's just PlayStation VR anymore. Like, you have the Oculus and everything else. So there is a lot more. But for the most part, I would say that the library for it is 100% mostly digital. On all of them.
All right, so let's change that and say VR is a flop, shelf wise. It's a flop, total flop.
That I would agree with for sure. Yeah,
Dan?
And a lot of the physicals from other countries.
Dan, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree. Yeah.
And everything retro.
100%. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, so I think that's the corporate that I was probably getting at when I started saying that it is a flop. It's a flop physically. It's a flop, in my opinion. Like, it wasn't out there. It wasn't readily available. The games were, like you guys said, I didn't know they were mostly digital, because I never really looked into the VR very much, because it wasn't available at the store. You know, like. It has to be available for you to look into it.
Yeah, every part of that whole scenario was limited in quantities in that aspect. They literally, their product in general flopped with the amount that they always had readily available. Do you know how hard it was to find that move gun, the firewall move gun? It was horrible.
Yeah.
To find
I couldn't even, I found literally.
You couldn't get it. The games you couldn't get. You couldn't find the bundles with the headset.
Right, I was just
anywhere.
about to say that. I found maybe 2 bundles when it first came out, and that was it. And they were gone within, like, the next week that I went there. And then Black Friday, they had, like, a special release for VR. And they had quite a few of those, but again, everybody wanted them. So it was gone within no time. And they never restocked the shelves on them.
Nope. I got mine from Texas. I remember it distinctly because I put a video, I believe, on YouTube showing how the asshole used tape and paper right on the box.
Oh,
I could have killed him.
he shipped it in that actual box. He didn't put a box
Yeah,
in.
in the VR
my
box,
God.
he wrapped it with fucking paper and just taped the paper right to it. Like, dude, I ended up like cutting it as best I could so I didn't destroy the box. And then the box got beat up as well because there was no packaging.
Right.
That seems to be the going rate lately with people. They don't want to wrap anything.
They don't want to waste the money on shipping for you.
Yeah, they want to pocket half of what you give them.
Just everybody know, Video Game Dust Loose does not do that. What you pay for shipping is what it's shipped for.
Well, what's the next status on the PS5 version? Like, I haven't looked into it. Is
Honestly,
it supposed to be better for motion sickness?
I haven't heard anything. I don't know anything about it. I don't even know if they're going wireless. I haven't heard diddly squat about the VR for PlayStation 5. Dan, you're probably more knowledgeable than we are when it comes to that.
No, I mean, I really haven't heard too much about it. I mean, I did hear that they're trying to get rid of wires and so forth, but yeah, I mean, obviously it's gonna be a better, because they were saying like the PS4, the regular PSVR. Honestly, when you look through the screen, the graphics are a little bit dumbed down, you know.
Crappy, yeah.
Yeah,
choppy.
and so it's more like playing a PS3 game in your PS4, you know. And so obviously, I think they're gonna try to improve the.
Well, you know, you also gotta think of it as like, look at what you can do in a VR game. You can turn around 360 and you can see the whole thing. Like, you know how much it takes for somebody to program that to where you can actually do a 360 and you can look and up, you can look down, you can look left and right and behind you. Like, wow.
Yeah, Skyrim
So for them,
was a little crazy with that.
You know what? I know somebody, Melmissa97, and she is actually on Discord here. She loves Skyrim. She bought VR just for that game. She bought a PlayStation 4 just for Skyrim in VR. She put it in. She played the game. She said, you can only play that in 15-minute intervals, because once you get past the 15-minute mark, everything starts getting blurry. And it's all chopped up. But she said it's beautiful when you look at it for like the first 5-10 minutes. But once your eyes started, you know, getting adjusted to the VR, she was saying that it took her a while to get to the point where like she can get past the 15-minute mark and it still look decent. I guess that's just your eyes adjusting and training to the VR. But she said otherwise, other than that, it's a beautiful scenery in that game, especially seeing it in VR.
I mean,
honestly, I would love to try the VR with like the new flight sim, and the that Star Wars game. It'd probably make me sick, but you know, I'd try it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. You know, VR will always have a spot for me to want to go back and just dabble. That's it. I never will see myself wanting to hardcore play tons of it. I played Doom. I loved it. Got sick playing it. Have not gone back to it. Still want to go back to it. I will dabble with it again one day, but because I got, I really.
Hey Bones, do you get vertigo when you play?
For the most part, I'm fairly good with it.
How about with Batman? You know, Batman has
Batman I didn't have a problem with. There was I think it was called like Rigs or something like that, where you were on like asteroid pieces and you were jumping from one piece to the other, and literally you could be upside down, so you were like spinning while jumping to the next asteroid. That I was okay with, believe it or not. It did get to me a little bit, but not bad. Resident Evil was fine. For the most part, I didn't have a problem with anything except for Doom, because of that stupid attack they have, where it's like the insta-kill. If you hurt the opponent, you dash into them. Like, you move dashing. And that moving while insta-killing, the flashing when you're flying into the guy fucked me up. I don't know why. It had to be the flash of the impact from killing the guy. And I did it like 7 times in a row, and it just immediately screwed with me. And I was like, whoa, yeah, that's enough. I can't do it. And I haven't gone back to it. So that with, like I said, having to stand up, I loved Firewall. Firewall was another really good experience where having that light gun, and which I love calling it a light gun. It's not even a light gun, but the move controller. You could tell I'm old and retro.
Hey, we understood exactly what you were talking about. So
Yes, all you guys do. I love it.
You don't hear us correcting you, so
the whole feel for the first time of just moving around and looking, because I visually turn when I play the game. That's why I said I go all over the place. For the most part, I want as most of an immersive experience as I can possibly have. So instead of clicking the joystick and turning my vision, I physically turn, and I turn a lot. So when I'm playing that and it's turning and then posting up, it literally does whatever you do. I lean out of the way of the doors. I put my back up to the wall. All those things, holding my arms out
Bones,
while I'm running up the stairs, spraying bullets down at the enemies, over the hand railing. Those experiences were really cool. So to go back and just dabble with them is going to be fun. But to play them for long stretches is not fun. You always will run the risk, in my eyes, of getting possibly sick, depending on the game. And it's just something that's more to just touch once in a while than constantly play, for me at least.
Bones, I
That's
gotta see you play this in VR.
I kind of want to see this. I want to see like bumping in and
we're gonna get you on here, and you're gonna put the camera like angling down at you so we can see you play this game.
Oh, which one?
Doom. I want to see you play Doom on VR.
Oh my god.
You could do it. You could do it in here. You just have to angle the camera right, your cell phone, so we could see you play. We'll go into the live
You
stream.
watched me play Barbie before.
That's damn
so
straight.
It wouldn't be that much different. Oh man, we got to get you guys to get Firewall. We can all play Firewall together.
Firewall.
It's kind of like Call of Duty.
All right. When I get a VR, I'll definitely.
I'm actually eBay searching PlayStation VR right now, so you guys got me thinking about this.
Bones made it sound pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I
is.
gotta
It's
get new. I don't want these cooties all over it, you know.
So he's got to get a new one. Unlike me, where I could
Yeah.
just I could put the cuties all over my face. It'd be all right.
Yeah, you're all about it.
I'm all about the cuties. Don't worry about it.
But like I said,
I
it's
got
a
'em already.
dabbler type of thing. It's not something that I've even gone back to in probably 6 months now. I haven't. I literally took it from being down here in my living room. I had it in the box, but I haven't used it for so long. I'm like, you know what? I might as well put this in the games room because I'm not using it down here. It's been 6 months. Why is it in the living room? Take it up where all the other game stuff is because I'm not using it. There's no reason. So like I said, I will go back to it.
Bones, one of these days, man, I'm gonna see you in here, and you're gonna do it.
Well, and like I also you got to look at it as I'm not looking at it in the aspect of some people are going to look at it as the first time they get kind of nauseous with it, they're never going to touch it again.
Nah,
So
you see, that's where
a
they're
waste of money.
that's where
a
they're
waste of
wrong.
money to them.
That's where they're wrong because the girl I was talking about, Melissa, she got really bad motion sickness when she first started playing. Really bad. She said she didn't want to go back to it, but she was like, I just spent all the money on this. Went back to it in smaller intervals, and she's fine. She could play the VR.
Yeah.
So
she put in the dedication to it. I
yeah,
guarantee
she
you a lot of
trained
other
her
people are
eyes
just
and
gonna
got it.
go,
Yeah, she trained her eyes and she got better with it. The motion sickness started gradually going away, and but you know, she can only play it for so long. And she plays Resident Evil. I was actually on. She wouldn't play it by herself. I actually got on. I forget what. I think it might have been on Skype at the time. Got on Skype, watched her play that game because she would not play it by herself because that's how terrifying it is. So for her anyway. So it's a shame she's not here for this podcast because like she would be like perfect to tell you all about VR.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the motion sickness is an issue for me as well, and it's funny because I do not usually get motion sickness from anything else, but trying the VR does affect me a little bit. The game that did it for me was Wipeout. That game, because you're like Bones was talking about before, you jumping from the asteroids. You're racer, and you're like doing loops and spins and turns, and it's really disorienting. I found so it made me nauseous. But so that's the barrier for me that makes me not want to play it as much, is because I'm afraid to get sick from some of the games. But so I think that's gonna be the case with a lot of people. That's one of the reasons why it can't ever be really super successful, because it is really it's really hard to play some of the games.
So and that's another aspect that could potentially make it a flop, is because people
You limited your
get
audience
sick,
a lot.
right?
Yeah.
You eliminated like a lot of people just from that.
Well, that drive game I just thought of. That's
Oh,
another
that
one
you're talking about.
That's just a driving simulator.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one fucked me up pretty good too. It don't look to the left or right when you're going, man. That'll mess you all up. It's like, oh.
Gran Turismo, that's the game, right? Is that the one?
No, it's called Drive. I have Gran Turismo. I haven't, dude. I'm afraid to put it in.
Gran Turismo?
I am. I really am, because that kind of a simulator. The flying ones too. I'm a little weary on that. I have the Eagle game, which isn't terrible, but even that I didn't play it long because I'm kind of fearful of that whole deal. Like, I don't like roller coaster guys. I will want to stab somebody if you put me on a roller coaster. I don't like roller coasters. I don't.
You don't want to go in the front seat with me, man?
No.
I'm that front seat kind of person.
No.
I'll go on the front seat with you.
I will throw people out of the way to get to the exit sign.
Hey,
before I
Bones,
go
what
on
about
the
you?
roller
Can you do a log flume?
A what?
Log. Go down like a log flume ride.
Oh, those big water log
Yeah,
things that you ride now?
yeah.
I can do that. That's about the extent of what you're gonna get me on. If it goes upside down, never.
Nah, this thing is just straight down in water, and at the end you do a big splash. That's it.
Yeah, I've done that numerous times. Do I have any ambition to do that now? No. I've always said that if I had children, I'd be the guy down there with the stroller, because I'm not getting on that shit, and you ain't dragging me on that shit. It ain't gonna happen. I black out on them. So I'm 100% awake, coherent, with no vision. And that is by far one of the freakiest and scariest shits for me. And then on top
One
of
thing
that,
you could do is close your eyes. That helps.
no, I get nauseous as shit. Once I can't see anything and everything's black, dude, I did the Super Duper Looper. Never again. And then there was, I think, the Great Bear. That was the fate sealer right there. Oh, man.
Nah,
They
my
were both
thing
good.
is like free fall. I can't do that. I can do roller coaster, but I can't do a free fall.
I could actually do the free fall. I don't like.
I
the way it makes
don't
my
like
stomach
how
feel.
my stomach goes out my fucking head. Like,
Yeah,
No,
that don't feel
no,
good.
no, not for me. Sorry.
You got to get on that like almost gonna shit myself. Like, I'm all about that kind of thing. I just can't do spinning shit. I think that's why VR messes me up.
Oh,
so
you
much.
can't do like the UFO ride where you're in there and you're
No,
spinning like
like,
150,000 miles per hour.
No. Whenever I was a kid, I could do it, and then I got older, like in my teens, and then I don't know what happened. Probably puberty, and then it all went away.
And the like the teacup rides, can you do that? Can you go in there and like spin a teacup?
You better not be spinning that thing, or else I'm blowing it all over you, man.
All right. Anything else on VR? Anybody have anything else to say?
Well, I'm just interested on where it's going to end up going. Like, how far is it going to truly advance? I don't know, as well as probably some of you guys have all worn this. All of you have worn the headset. It's not really the most comfortable thing. Like, I feel that it still has a lot further to go. Got a lot of ground to gain, I mean. As far as what it can do, because there's competitors out there now, and they've been around, that are only getting better and better. I don't know which one is going to end up being the best alternative down the road, because of what still really can be done. The Oculus at this point seems to be a really nice piece of equipment to be using for VR.
When it comes to that, I want mine hooked up to a console. I don't want it free. I don't want it like the Oculus where it's just that's what
See,
it
that's
is.
the thing, yeah. And I don't know if any other company is ever going to really dabble in the VR. Nobody else.
I really
seems
don't
to
think
care.
so. I don't think so.
You
I think
know-
Microsoft's going to step back. They're not going to do anything. They would have did it when Sony came out with theirs. They would have did it right away.
And that and price. We got to think price too. You know,
That's
like,
exactly it. The price
is it going to cost
the
the
big
same
one.
amount as a PS5? Because that's how the first, the original PlayStation VR was almost the same price, if not a little bit more. Almost same price as a PlayStation 4 at the time. You know.
Yeah, and then they were all bundled, remember? So you had to pay even more because you were getting a game with it. And
Yeah. So, and I think that hurt
Suckers.
too.
Yeah, definitely.
Price is a barrier. I mean, if they made it a lot cheaper, I'm sure it'll sell through a lot more.
An Oculus is not cheap. It's not cheap by any means. That
Nope.
was the actual. I've watched several reviews, and most of the reviews, that was one of the key points. What you got for the price point with the PlayStation VR was good. It was well worth the price point. Because a lot of people, it's hundreds of dollars more for an Oculus.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Like, you're literally getting something. Yes, it's definitely better, but for the price you're paying for the PSVR one, it was supposedly really comparable. That if most people was better off buying that one.
Yep.
I mean, the only thing that's surprising to me is, we've seen companies bring out technology or gimmicky things and kill it off really fast if it doesn't sell well, like the Virtual Boy and then like the Xbox Kinect motion thing. And I mean, Sony has kept this around for a while, hasn't killed it off yet. So I think that's why I'm not hesitant to call it a flop, because
I think it depends on the way you're looking at it, though. Just, everybody has a different point of view when it comes to that. Like, we just discussed that whole reasoning behind the reason why I think it's a flop.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know about the digital games, but just from physical alone, I think it's a flop just in that manner.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of digital games, dude. Because if you think about it, they have a lot of smaller, like indie almost style that are on there. I downloaded one. I think it's called Walker. It was made by somebody, I believe, from another country, and that's what I was noticing more and more when I shop for them. A lot of the games, there's a lot of different physical releases, but they're from other countries, and because there's no region lock, you can buy those and play those games.
Right, that's what I was talking about, like buying online.
That's where you get them. You're right.
Right.
It's all online. There is nothing like that, and there doesn't seem to be much being produced for the VR unless it's digital. It solely seems to be more of a digital thing, and that's the same deal with the Oculus. Maybe they're going to support it. I have a feeling they'll do another revision, because even like the Xbox Kinect, they did revisions of that Kinect. It was just that was the only thing they did. They didn't take the Kinect to the next level. They just revised the same piece of equipment. I think they're going to do the same thing with the VR. Probably just make it wireless, a little bit better than what it is. But I don't know if it's necessarily going to go much further past that for console life. I mean, honestly, we won't know, because the way consoles are going, they're turning into more or less just a computer now. So at that rate, VR headsets with computers is what it used to be before, and still is the thing to do.
Yeah, I'm staying away from that. I'm sticking with consoles. As long as consoles are out, that's what I'm going to.
I used to be a big PC guy, and then I'm back in consoles.
Yeah, I dabbled in PC, and that was like a really long time ago. And
So did I, but everything was outdated. As soon as I had something, it was freaking outdated.
Pretty
And
much.
I was so tired of the upkeep on trying to, okay, now you got to go to this next, and you got to go to this next, and you got to go.
And
I don't
you
have
had
to
to
do that.
improve like your computer to play certain games because it wasn't
Yeah.
powerful enough. Screw
Yeah, it was
that.
always a pain,
Like, I'm
man.
sticking to PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo, because you don't have to improve anything. The only way you improve is when they improve their console. So it's like a
Okay, so
win-win.
Yep, I will go up to my NES and I can grab a game and throw it in and play it at any time. I don't need to ever.
Yeah,
worry
and retro
about
is even
any of
better,
that.
even better than this modern stuff that's coming out because of that. You know, because you can just
Even
throw it in and
Yep.
not have to worry about it.
and value, like gameplay wise, retro is better than the new stuff too, because there's still games that are hard as hell to beat, and there's games I've never beaten. You know, like
And with retro,
God.
there's plenty of games to pick from. Like there's games I've never even heard of on retro, and to this day, still don't know all the retro games. And I even do box art for all these games. Like I have barely touched probably 50% of the library. So
Well, I mean, I honestly I don't have that passion and hunger for the new stuff that's coming out anyways. Like I have very small collections. Well, they're not very small. I mean, they're small collections of PS4 and the Xbox, and my Switch is pathetic. Like I don't have really
and
anything
that's
for
cart based.
those. Yeah, it's like I literally no, I can't say because dude, I have over 460 PS2 games. So I mean, I still have a lot of disc-based systems. But if you notice, that means anything new doesn't have me hooked like old video games did all the generations prior. I don't have that niche or urge or hunger to even really go after them or collect them. I've left some sitting at thrift stores already. Madden's, which I pick up usually everything. I go by the motto, I don't like leaving a soldier behind when I go out retro hunting. So even if I have the game already, it might be an upgraded case or something else. It's like I usually pick it up at the price is cheap. Well, I mean, you can't get them at cheap prices now. But that was literally the way that I used to do it. I don't know, man.
it's funny you say that, Bones, because like I'm the same way. Like the new console, like I have the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and like I quit having the Xbox Series. Like I had the Xbox Series One, the Xbox One, sold it, and like I had a PS4, and I used it more as like a digital media device than anything. But like I think like out of the new systems, and it's funny because you just said it's cartridge based. I have a ton of Switch games. Now, granted, I'm more on the importing side of Switch. There's some incredible games out there for the Switch that you have to import. But yeah, man, I'm with you. And I watched the PlayStation thing the other day, and there was like two games. I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm all about this, and they were remakes. So I feel you. I feel you.
I don't know. I just anything that's older, I have much more of an enjoyment to go after, and I have no ambition to even go after PS5 or any of that. Like, I don't know if maybe I'm done with games after a certain point that I just don't have any ambition to collect for them. I don't. The last time I picked up was when me and Chris were out, and I bought a ton of PS4 sports games, but that's literally how I buy PS4 games. Compared to what Dan, your collection's gorgeous. Mine's a laughing stock, but it would be what you'd find at. Oh my God, you'd be lucky if you found it at GameStop. They don't have anything anymore. But there's not much to look at in my collection for PS4 or Xbox One. It's sad, really. And I don't collect any of that. And I don't think I'm gonna go after a PS5, at least really anytime soon. I don't see the need for it.
All right, we kind of strayed off the subject.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good though. So VR flop or no? I guess it's up to you to decide. You hear all of our opinions. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is VR a flop? Give me a reason why. All right, we'll do the last segment. Game of the month. Bones, what's your game of the month?
Oh man. I'm gonna have to go with. We're gonna go with. Well, I did Batman Forever the last time, so we're gonna get off of that console. We're gonna go with the creative studios that I got for the Sega Genesis because I got to try out that mouse and the coloring program on it. So that's gonna be mine for
Good.
Genesis Creative Studios.
Good luck coloring.
Thank you.
Everything retro game of the month.
I'm a big wrestling fan, and AEW is absolutely smashing it out of the park lately. And I've been nonstop collecting AEW wrestling figures, and it's a horrible addiction. So I've been playing WWF No Mercy on the N64 constantly this month. So that's gonna be my game of the month.
Nothing wrong with an N64 wrestling game.
Absolutely, I think the best ever.
Yep. Some of the best wrestling games came off the N64. Dan, game of the month.
My game of the month, I just downloaded the fighting game Time Killers, and I loaded it on.
Oh, that's the best! I love that game.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the game. Last game I shelled out money for.
All right, my game of the month. I'm going to go with a VR game since nobody said a VR game in the VR podcast. Batman VR, since that was the only VR game I ever played. Thanks, Bones.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you again, Everything Retro, our guest gamer.
My pleasure, as always.
And of course, the podcast duo. Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Oracle. Had a good time, man. Like always.
And thank you, everybody that listens. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, don't blow, just leave. Later.
Peace out.
Yep.
See you, everyone.
Later.